Welcome once again to the Onesha Creatives Network Dinner. It being a premier event in Kenya and Africa that celebrates creatives and freelancers who are making change in the future of work in Africa. This is also the event where businesses that have worked with Onesha and those who seek to work with Onesha meet and just have a good time. Yes, asante sana. So keep tweeting, keep retweeting. Remember, Onesha is also grateful to its partners like Pangea Accelerator of Norway, who invested in Onesha. Then there's Business Support Services Africa, who help with account management, Entrepreneurs Organization Kenya and US. We've got Safaricom Academy, we've got iLab Africa, we've got Grover Africa and Kuza Lab. Then there is Kenya Private Sector Alliance and Ajira program by the Ministry of ICT and is Kenya Limited.
My name is Sydney. I think we've been friends with Davis and Bernard for a number of years. David?
This guy, when he gives me work, he takes me to the supermarket and tells me, chukua ice cream yenye unataka. Na usichukue moja. He is the most generous, warm, kind-hearted gentleman.
You haven't spoken about the Mogadishu experience.
This man can spoil you. This man has done amazing things for him. The other time when I was telling you I love Onesha na kama upendi Onesha shauri yako, this is the man.
Okay, a lot of lies, but yeah. Anyway, about what we've done with Onesha, I think it's been a long journey. We've been able to do so many projects in different phases. We've done some of the biggest campaigns, digital campaigns with Onesha on some of the big lottery brands locally. It doesn't matter who runs them, whether it's guys who are local or guys who are outside, but that's one of the biggest values that we've actually gained, or rather biggest things that we've done. And I think there's a lot of opportunity in the market, and Onesha, the positioning in the market exposes these opportunities to most of us in different capacities.
Once again, this massive thing, I need to get used to it. So as I introduce myself, my name is Catherine Kibuchi, and I think this particular session is for me to talk about my experience with Onesha. So where do I start? Wow, okay. So I have known Onesha since 2018. That's when we were newly launching Ciela Resort Kisumu, and it's one of a kind in the Western region. So we're trying to look for a digital company who would be able to bring out that particular uniqueness, communication pillars that the resort would harness at that particular point in Western. So that's how we engaged Onesha to come on board and assist us in, positioning it on the digital world. And it was a good experience. It was very educational because we had to do like a team immersion for them to understand the vision of the resort and then come up with a digital strategy, open up the social media pages, what would work, what would not work for the resort.
Okay, I am a UX designer. I've been doing design for the past 5 years, but I recently transitioned to UX, so I'm doing it full time.
I think they don't know what UX is.
UX means...
You have to do what UX is.
Okay. Is there anyone who doesn't know what UX is?
No, that means you are X.
Okay.
Not you are X.
So, UX means, UI means users interface, and then there's UX, users experience. So, users...
My name is Marlon Wangi. Invited by a guy called Judo Tenyo.
Yes.
So Judo Tenyo was unable to come, so I came in for him.
Yes.
So myself, based in Westlands, a company called 3 Quality Services. Majorly project management, but I've also in the field.
I want to prophesy in less than 10 years, this gentleman here is going to get a head of state commendation for service to community. Because I have been to so many rooms, and I've not been to a room where people are dishing work or having work dished to them and they're promising they'll do it and they get paid. I think Onesha is a wonderful family.
So Onesha has been a good partner we worked with when we need materials for digital media, or when we need sometimes, they've also even getting work from Onesha. I think for us it's been
It's been
it's a two-way traffic. So when they get work, they pass a number of jobs to us. At the same time, when we have something, we get creatives from Onesha. So that's on Kuza Lab. I think it's the same on Patika. Yeah. So Patika is a bookkeeping app for small businesses.
So I'm Imran Mungai. So by the way, I've worked with Felix. I knew Bernard through Felix. I was working in Kuzarab on a project, a digital construction project. Was called iBuild. So Bernard happened to visit. So I knew each other from there. Yeah. So thank you also Felix. So my experience with Onesha has been good. Has been very good. We are their design and development partners, so we are currently doing a couple of projects together, like four of them. Yeah, and the experience has been amazing.
For them is, of course, content development. But what I'm doing right now that is my bread and butter and is bringing me so many clients, and something I love to do is search engine optimization and customer journey mapping. So I think after some time I'll move from digital and just focus on what we call martech. That is the intersection of marketing and technology with respect to search engine optimization, UX, UI, and what have you.
Things like that. So I got to know about Onesha because, of course, I'm a digital worm. On all social media platforms. Anything that is being discussed online, I'll probably get to see it. So I also joined YKT.
YKT is Young Kenyans in Tech. I think there are three people here from Young Kenyans in Tech. We have Jess. You are YKT. We have I think we have Njoroge and yourself.
Yeah. So Young Kenyans in Tech, I realized that I think I saw your story from when you were pitching at the Lions Den. Yeah, so all that, so I started talking directly to Bernard. I realized that there are so many people at Onesha, especially the WhatsApp group, but they've never done a project with you guys. Why?
In a certain way, I have experience of Kenyan clients want you to impress them. Don't tell me you can do it, but show me how good you can do it. I think that's a distinction with the Kenyan clients. So if you're a creative here and you're pitching to a Kenyan client doesn't want you to show them it can only be this. A Kenyan client wants you to show them it could be this, it could be that, it could be that, unataka gani. So as an Onesha creative, if you understand that, then what happens is that although you will take a bit of time to prepare for the Kenyan client, some of the work that they didn't choose is ready work for somebody else who they will actually like it. So don't look at it as if you did triple work.
And they connect to a freelancer, and the client is there waiting to be given feedback in terms of so have you started work? Should I send you payment? When can I expect the work to be delivered? Is there anyone managing this project? So you're just left there in terms of hanging. So we said we can do a better job in terms of helping customers in Kenya to work with freelancers. So we have quality assurance managers. Whenever work comes in, it has to be quality assured before it goes out to our client. And then we have project managers who want the relationships between creatives and customers. Because most creatives, I think most creatives are here, they don't want to talk to clients. We're on here now, I love meeting and do what they want, right? So we have that layer that ensures creatives are comfortable, the client is comfortable, and Onesha handles all the things in the middle.
My name is Renette from Market Force, and I work in the marketing department. And we have been working with Onesha for the last for this year, the last 1 year. And I would say it has been a successful working relationship with them. I actually approached them for a marketing project whereby Kevin and Bernard really came through for me, because it's not my area of expertise, but I gave them that project and they really executed it very well. And to be honest, we still use those images and the videos, and you really did a good job on that. And as we head even to 2022, we are looking forward to a long-term relationship with them. And yes, I would like to say, I'd like to wish you guys all the best. And yes, we love Onesha.
So we wanted to, someone wants to clap. You can clap. Great. So we wanted to just do a brief discussion on the future of work, freelancers, and the digital economy. Just 15 or so minutes, and then we look towards closing. I'll invite Catherine, Kevin, and Njoroge, the marketer. We also have Mr. Njoroge, the marketer. Mr. Njoroge, the marketer, as you had earlier, is one of the actually top marketers, especially in the Kenyan market. He worked with different brands in terms of media buying, as you had earlier about search engine optimization, and working with various businesses to enable them to create workable plans for digital communication. And we're happy to have Mr. Njoroge today. We also have Kevin. Kevin, I think there's no need for introduction. Kevin has worked with several brands. Before joining Onesha, Kevin was branch manager in one of the largest, I think, book distribution companies in Uganda. And then he came to Kenya to run the textbook center branch at GRM. And after that, he ventured into business and now working with Onesha. The first question is, I want you to briefly describe how does the future of work affect the current role that you're doing? Do you think in the next 20 years you are already will exist, or what you do will exist? Or do you think it will be made stronger by the changes that are currently happening in the digital space?
Hello everybody. Hello. Hi. I normally say we're lucky because there is no single day that our job will be under serious threat from robots and all these things that are threatening everybody in the future of work. Mostly I write. I'm a writer first before anything else. And I've seen apps and artificial intelligence bots coming up that they say they can write copy for you, but I think we've seen very ridiculous examples on social media about an app getting something totally out of context. So I believe that while some of us will be affected in the creative or in the writing space, that our jobs are not under serious threat, because always a human will always write better, a human will always put things into context better, and they'll always express themselves better. We're in the business of selling emotions, and that is something that artificial intelligence or bots or the best computers will never ever have in a million years. So I'm sitting pretty, my future is bright, and I'm happy to trust this.
Thank you. So for me, I'll just backtrack a bit when COVID came to us. And what I see as future of work is, as James Nyambane described, is the freedom of where we are working remotely. It's the freedom to actually interact and work with people overseas, seated in your pajamas, and just, making that code work. So when I look at the future of work, where I stand right now is that we still need the human intervention, as Njoroge said, because as humans, we definitely put in the strategies, we put in the thinking, and we come to understand what the market trends and what the consumers are, unlike the robots. So I still believe that the future of work is going to be working remotely a lot, and we have seen a lot of offices closing, having very limited space, and creating more opportunities for freelancers, and that's what we'd love to see, systems that make the work integrated and flow very easily. Over to you.
There's a story that is shared. I think every one of us is undergoing behavior change subconsciously. There are messages that come to us subtly, repeatedly, that are slightly altering our behavior subconsciously. The shocking part is that if anybody has done Facebook analytics, you would notice age demography very low when it is 13 to 17, and then it peaks 25 to 35, and then it goes down 34 to 44, then it goes low 44, and then the last column 65 and above. Has anybody ever noticed why older people are on social media and it's growing? If you check analytics, older people are now presently on social media, and there is a shocking story that they are also responding to automated messages. Older people tend to listen to radio, and if Kenyan radios advertise betting, older people are now starting to bet against everything they have believed not to do. But if an older person switches this station, there is betting, this other station, there is betting, this other station, there is betting. Older people is even reported they're now betting more than younger people. And that for me was a shocking observation that there is behavior change that we are not grasping. I also get shocked when I speak in the office about something, and then I know for a fact my phone is listening to me, and it scares me. I've had a conversation about something, then you check your phone, exactly the same thing is appearing on your something you're searching. In fact, you can even go to YouTube, and the last conversation you had about somebody somewhere is appearing on auto-suggestion. Has that happened to anybody here? Or I'm the only guy? So for me, my future is threatened if I don't align my skills to complement the change. I think there are some things that are changing, and it will be ignorant of me not to identify and adjust. Otherwise, I would be swept off by the next wave. So I hold both types of opinion.
Njoroge, you spoke about being comfortable that your future wouldn't, change in terms of changes in technology, changes in how platforms operate. What do you think for people like you who are in the marketing space, communication space, what do you think marketers should do at the moment to ensure they are aligned with the changes that are yet to come? Because change has to happen in the marketing space especially, and less and less work is being done by humans, and we're seeing a lot of automation, as Njoroge said earlier. What do you think creatives who are in the marketing space should do to ensure they don't lose out the changes that are coming?
Well, I think it's sharpening our skills and becoming better at what we do. So let me speak for writers and content creators. It's interesting that, for example, yesterday at around 1, I woke up at 1 in the night to write copy, and it was about something I don't really do. I've never tasted alcohol since the day I was born. But here there was a client with irresistible money who people wanted for alcohol. So at that point, leave alone a robot, I was the worst person to write it, even among humans, even among human beings, to write that copy, because I believe there are serial drinkers or marketers who have done a better job. But for me, it's always about dedicating my life to marketing and copy and content and witty stuff. Even in my talk, even the movies I watch, they have to be selling something. I normally continue with the series if there's someone being sold something or someone trying to communicate something in a witty way. So for me, it's continuous improvement. I was talking to Tess about a series called Selling Sunset. I don't know how many have watched that series on Netflix. Yes, it's about selling real estate. So now that is, there are better movies that I could have watched. There are better scripted movies and stuff. But I deliberately want to watch a series where people are selling stuff, so that I know how to sell stuff. I know how they write, how they market. So the best way for you to future-proof yourself is to dedicate your life. Okay, you can have a life, you can do your thing, you can go swimming and stuff like that, you can get married, but at the end of the day, you really have to put effort to study and learn, and even the conversations you have, the content, the books you read, they all have to be geared towards making you a better creative, a better writer, a better salesperson. That's the only way you can come out on top.
Interesting. Even quoting some examples from Netflix. People here what do you guys normally watch on Netflix? You watch after Squid Game, what do you watch? Don't you watch? Though I normally, because I was assuming when you log into Netflix, you see #1 in Kenya. I wonder who watches these things. Normally they're lying to us. Who watches some funny shows at #1 in Kenya? So it's good to hear from you. So Njoroge, you've spoken about what individuals should do in terms of individual marketers, what they should do in terms of preparing themselves to handle the future of work. If I was to throw it over to Catherine, because agencies, they do almost something similar to what individual creatives do in terms of communication. Do you see agencies playing a role in terms of shaping how the future of work and communication will be, especially now that most companies are building their own internal teams for communication? What role do you think agencies will play in terms of either making what companies are doing stronger or charting new territories?
Right. Thank you, Bernard. So, as I always say, we had this conversation a while back, and people say, agencies will not need you guys in the next 20 years. But truth be told, then the ideas live there. And some of the beauty about having an agency is we have so many teams that work on different pitches, different ideas, tactical, it can be media strategy. And I'll just divert a bit when I tell creatives that never ever let any client put your idea down. The role of agency will still be there because we bring together different minds, different talents, we bring together freelancers, strategists in different ways just to drive that particular vision to client. And there's some things that maybe individuals might not have access to, some tools that give you the market intelligence, consumer behavior, that the agency have that particular advantage of having. So I still feel that agency will still be relevant 10 years in future of work. It's just now that we need to equip our teams with the necessary apps, the necessary remote working knowledge, and everything that they need to just remain relevant in the market.
Even in the metaverse.
Even in metaverse, yes, we are ready for it. We are ready for it, and we are tuning ourselves, and we find that agencies that are not equipping themselves with a tech team right now are going to be losing out so hard in 5 years' time. And that's one thing that Dentsu has been doing globally, is actually ensuring that we have a tech team in each and every country that are now trying to acclimatize and understand everything tech, everything that comes with the meta universe, because gaming is going to become a very huge thing. And you can see that the Gucci bag that was sold on Metaverse for $4,500 when it goes for $3,500 in real life. What does that tell you? That people are actually purchasing things on Metaverse at a very high price because they're living in there right now. Yeah, I'll give you an example of my niece. She's just 4 years old. And so I asked her what she really wanted for Christmas as I was buying my two daughters presents. And she came back to me and just told me, so auntie, I want Roblox. Roblox? Yeah, Roblox, that game that, and it's, online is just $26, right? It's 2,600 Kenyan shillings. And I was like, are you sure this is what you want? And she was so confident about it. What does that tell you? That the younger generation is actually picking up technology, metaverse, and actually, acclimatizing themselves to that particular space. So I think, the future is now.
So Kevin, you sit between what Catherine does in terms of agencies and what Rocket does in terms of an individual. What do you think, looking at the next 10 years, most of the guys who are HDR freelancers, how should they structure their work plans, structure their personal development, structure how they look for work, for them to ensure either they fit into being a really good freelancer that you can actually sustain yourself, or you can be absorbed by the likes of them who are looking for newer ideas from creatives. What do you think these guys should do?
Thank you. I think all of us need to know we have a part to play in the overall success of the marketing objective, and it's going to get a bit more competitive because only the best stand out and everybody else gets lost in the shadows. So I would say everyone needs to be polishing up on their skills, and perhaps the biggest skills that we all need to be polishing up on is our human interaction skills. People do business with people they like. For example, there had to be a relationship between the creative who pitched DJ Afro. I mean, there was a relationship somewhere, which if it didn't exist, they wouldn't have known, hey, we need you to put an idea together. And so I think the creatives need to look out for all the parties in the neighborhood, for all the social events. There's a guy we follow, I think he's a socialite. He puts up parties, the one we attended in Kiambu. There's a certain influencer who is in control of parties in Nairobi. He says there's a party in Naivasha, and 300 people follow that person in Naivasha. He says there's a party somewhere else. So can you be that amongst the creatives to say, green is going to be the color we will use heavily for this reason, and you can actually pull people towards that direction. So I think there's going to be competition, but it gives us a chance to hone our skills, become better at it, and also become better at human interactions one-on-one, because the guy who has the best connection with the person giving work is the one who gets it. Sometimes it's not necessarily the best person who can execute it. It's the person who has the best relationship with the one who is actually offering the work, and it really influences who gets the work. So our future is going to be more social, and that's where deals are being cut, and creatives need to sacrifice time behind the computer and time with other people to hear what their pain problems are and how it is they can position their skills to solve those pain problems.
Interesting. So you've all spoken individually in terms of what the individual can do or what the agency can do to ensure that they are all aligned in terms of how the future looks like. Since all this work won't be done by individuals, since all this work won't be done by just a single person, there has to be some point of outsourcing or an aspect of outsourcing to marketplaces like Onesha. What role in your individual roles? What role do you see in marketplaces? It could be Onesha, it could be Upwork, it could be Fiverr. do you see them playing in terms of either helping local clients or local customers to effectively outsource, or helping freelancers to scale up either their personal operations to ensure that they meet the demand that is coming from the market? So what role do you think platforms, marketplaces will play in terms of making the future work happen?
Okay, first of all, I have to confess, and I think everybody has to, that even if you're a freelancer, you are probably outsourcing something to someone else. It's very difficult that, you're a freelancer, you're doing design. If you're successful, then it means this client who's asking you to do design for them also wants something else, and you go and look for someone else you trust and stuff like that. So already, this idea of outsourcing works. And what I love about Onesha, okay, I was in Upwork some time back, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but you can't have that personal touch you have at Onesha. If I was a client and I had to choose between Onesha and Upwork or Fiverr, I'd choose Onesha, because I know there's a guarantee. There's someone like Bernard who's behind the quality and everything, and will make sure that everything has been done successfully. So the future is the marketplaces, and that's why even as a freelancer, who I wouldn't say that I was sleeping hungry before Onesha came to my rescue, but I loved being part of that platform. I loved that one day be part of something bigger than me. There'll be Onesha. I can even refer a client to them. And I don't have to be the one making a phone call, someone I've outsourced to. There's someone in the office to do that. And there's quality assurance, there's consistency in the work and stuff like that. And there are people like how she said, agencies are good because there are so many people who can put their heads together and come up with a brilliant idea. So these marketplaces are the way to go. And personally, I feel like Onesha has been a very, very great addition to my life, such that even right now, while I might make actually more money outsourcing something myself, outsourcing to someone else, the peace of mind, the quality assurance that comes with handing the job over to Onesha is priceless. You can't compare it with you calling someone and maybe they're not picking up and you have to track them down. So clients should embrace Onesha as the marketplace, so that they can get everything under one house. They don't have to have meetings with so many people or chase this one and chase this other one. But when they come to a one-stop shop like Onesha, they can be assured that they will get everything they need in their marketing and creative.
Okay, so I'll start by saying it's a beautiful time to be alive and working in the marketing industry right now. And why I say that is because with COVID, I'll still consider COVID because it really shook up the world. During COVID, you found that, I'll speak from an agency perspective. During COVID, you found that most clients withdrew retainer from agency and were working on project basis, right? And that's where we came to learn and understand the importance of freelancers, and a marketplace like Onesha would make such a beautiful addition to all the agencies in this country. I think we need to start pitching to us, because we do struggle a lot trying to get the correct and the right fit for each particular client. And it becomes a very big challenge, because at this particular point, there's no client that is willing to commit a monthly retainer without knowing the uncertainty of tomorrow. Next year is coming, there's elections, most multinationals are already scared. They're like, okay, so what will happen? We'll sign the contract in July, and then we'll figure it out after that. So why I'm saying that is because platforms like Onesha as the marketplace, connecting freelancers to clients through agencies, is a very powerful thing that allows us to track performance, track how work is being churned out, be able to actually put together a deck. One is in Nakuru, one is in Nairobi, the other one is in Mombasa, because it's such a beautiful place where we connect everyone, from a designer to a strategist to someone who's doing the illustrations. So I believe that it plays a very, very big role, and it also ensures that it's aligning towards the economic goals of agencies and clients as well, especially on project basis. So I really know that it's a beautiful time to be aligned because things can get done anywhere, any place, by the right people through the marketplace connection.
I think marketplaces like Onesha also work as aggregators. How are you able to tell what kind of people are where and can they be reached to suit certain demographic requirements of a client? Say a client wants something done in Nigeria and Upwork might not actually help you know local sensibilities for somebody who can understand how would that client in Nigeria actually want it. So I think platforms like Onesha could grow in the way they aggregate their creative possibilities. And I think futuristically, Onesha could also discover other marketplaces where you could tap creatives from. If I speak in the future, if people are dating on Tinder, is it possible to know these people like each other and they're also creatives? These people like each other and they're also fashion designers. So they would probably have a good flair towards a certain project. And the reason why I say increasing the type of aggregation is because I was interested in an app that was being marketed in France that connects people socially based on the type of music you both like. So if I have a song for somebody in my phone and then somebody who also likes that phone comes near me, I mean both of us will get a beeper and then we will hit it off. Hiya, how long have you been listening to Trio? And both of us like Trio. So yeah, so I think Onesha could grow in the diversity of other places where you can tap this aggregation. Those are my wild thoughts.
Great. I think those are very good sentiments in terms of where freelancers will fall into place in terms of the future of work, where agencies will play their role, as well as where marketplaces like Onesha and the rest will play their role. I want to just take 3 questions from the audience for a wonderful panel here in terms of either future of work, marketing, communication, freelancing, even mental health. Actually, someone mentioned mental health for creatives and freelancers. I'll take maybe 2 or 3 questions and then we close. If you don't ask me, I'll choose you. I'll pick randomly for questions. I think to start off, I'll start with the people who came in from the back. I think that is the one I'm making eye contact with. Yes, you can ask your question and then introduce yourself. I don't know where the mic. Great. So you can start by asking a question to the panelists and then you can introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity and also thank you so much for this event. Sadly, I arrived too late, but I managed to get a bit of the metaverse talk. So I wanted to ask, considering the fact that the world is now switching onto the metaverse idea, and some of the panelists talked about human interaction, something like that. So are we going to rely on marketing on this side of the world or on the other side of the world?
You got the question? Or should you repeat it?
So will marketing be strong on that other side or this other side or both sides?
Yeah, so my advice to most of my clients is let's start simulating and try to adopt as much as possible tech. Yeah, especially the FMCGs. These guys are used to always having the stock in the supermarkets. I will walk in, go buy, and that's it. Then what happens when we go on a lockdown again? What are you doing as a brand to be in the tech and the digital space, right? Having said that, I believe that at this particular moment, it's just a balance to try and see how the inner person interaction is going to be as we await the metaverse. But let's not have a blindfold on our faces and say, you know what, that thing is never coming. We're going to mend a mass. No, we need to start, building towards it, working towards, equipping yourself with the knowledge that is necessary. If you're creative, how are we going to be transitioning to this other side? And also the human interaction aspect is also very important. Yeah? I wanted to give another example, but I'm going to pass the mic.
Go ahead. Just give an example.
I'll just give an example of, talked about an alcohol brand. And there's a very big question about Oktoberfest, right? Have you all heard about Oktoberfest? So this year was the first time that Tusker Oktoberfest actually happened after the lockdown. So it did not happen in 2020. And so this year, the approach we took was different as an agency. What did we do? We wanted you to hear from your next door neighbor that Oktoberfest is coming to Kakamega with a musician that you actually know. Yeah, it's coming to Kirinyaga with a musician that I actually know. So we gave the audience the opportunity to speak and choose how they want us to run the Oktoberfest. And that's the kind of human interaction we're talking about, but this time digitally. Yeah, we gave them the voice to tell us, who do you want to see perform in DC? Who? Tell us. And those are the artists we brought. You did not see us taking Akina Major, Akina Femi One, Akina Trio Mio to Kakamega. Yeah, we let them choose who they want, because that is the kind of interaction that he's talking about. It's very personal as brands are trying to actually get to the grassroots of where the consumers are, but now they're doing that digitally. So you see there's a connect. It's not very detached. It's a connection of having the both worlds come together in a balance.
Great example by this. Kevin?
I would say not everybody understands metaverse. You could be here and people are metaversing and you're wondering, kwani niko nchi gani jamani? So I need to at least help anybody who's floating about this metaverse. And metaverse, I would say, is an advanced type of virtual reality. And virtual reality has not been predominant in Kenya, but there are places where virtual reality exists, especially in gaming. If you've used a Samsung phone, there would be Samsung phones that you can put on a headset that if you wear, it opens up another world. And by mistake, one day I was in TRM and somebody was selling a gaming experience, and I removed my spectacles and they put something on my head. And then I started to see something else. And what I was seeing was not consistent with my reality. And they started to play a car that was moving, and then they told me car chini. And then I can hear through my ear car chini, but physically if I sit, I'm also falling. So then he holds me, and then the car starts to move, and I'm like, I don't know how to drive, what should I do? And then another car came my way and it was going to knock me, and then I started screaming, and I provided real-time entertainment to whoever was there. So if those videos ever come your way, please know it is true, every word. And so if you're a creative, you could also consider learning how could you offer your creativity in the marketplace of metaverse and metaversing. And it doesn't mean you will get very many clients in that space, but I promise you, if you meet a client in the metaverse space, they will pay top dollar because there's a shortage of talent in that area. And for me to spark your curiosity, in the metaverse, you can create your own new reality. You can create a new Kenya where the president is a shamba boy, and when people see him, they back orders at him, and he has to do those things. And other people could be fascinated in a reality where the president is a shamba boy, na amejivaje, na how does he talk, and are the eyes the way they are. So I would interest anybody who is a creative to consider the metaverse, because
If somebody in our room is asking a question about it, it means it's a present possibility. It doesn't mean it's 100% what we are consuming, but the door has opened. And I would encourage anybody who is a creative to give it some time to understand it and to offer their services there.
Oh, great, great. Do we have any other question? Question from the audience. I'm picking on one of the software developers. So you guys, devs, you need to actually, you guys haven't talked about what devs should do in this future work thing. These guys, I don't want to point on someone. Most of them spend probably 99% of their time in their home office or from Nairobi Garage or from iHub. Just quickly, in terms of software engineers, because we're talking about marketing, communication, design, creative communication and all that. But all these things run on software platforms, right? So, and most of these software platforms at some point will be written by artificial intelligence, right? So they may not have work to do, you know. So Sydney will be most of the time just going to Somali for work, not writing code. Or Felix will be just watching sunset. What was it? Selling sunset. And Imran will be, where Imran? In somewhere in Rome, just chilling. So in terms of software engineers who are building these platforms, what do you think they should do for them to position themselves competitively, for them to be either attractive to companies that are looking for talent, or to also even build their own businesses to support or whatever will be happening in the next 10 years? Just quickly for especially engineers.
Can I talk about website design? Sure. Okay, so let me give a story of a website designer. So one of the services my company offers is website design. So we had a client from UK who was selling honey. She was sourcing honey from Kenya and Cameroon and selling it to the UK. So we were building a website for her. So, but she had another website and it was not working at all. And it was built by a Pakistani guy. So it was, you know, those guys from those countries are very good at website design, software engineering and stuff like that. But it was not working. So what we did, the strategy we came up with is that we had a questionnaire because we didn't understand the UK market. So we had a questionnaire that, you know, she sent to a number of people there. And what we realized is that people don't buy honey in UK because they don't know what to do with it. You know, because they ask people, what do you do with your honey? And you know, people are saying, you know what, you're applying bread, but that's not enough because there are better alternatives. So what we did is that we came up with around 40 recipes for honey and put them in the website, and boom, the sales increased because we taught people what to do with honey. And when they did, because I remember when you're coming up with those recipes, and actually they are Hindu recipes, so most of the YouTube channels we were watching actually had a very thick accent and stuff about honey. But you realized when you cook honey with fish, you know, the fish becomes better, it stays for long and stuff like that. There were so many weird recipes. So you see, for a developer, for a website developer, that's not good. It's not good. But there is no single day that artificial intelligence will come up with a customer journey or will come up with a website that people can actually relate to and see massive results. It will not. There is no single day to ever think like that. So when you start now as a software developer, when you start thinking of solutions, when you start thinking of how the customer journey will be on the website, you know, how people will interact with the website, because for me, it's all about people. That's what sustains my business, how people are going to interact with the website, how they're going to interact with the social media and stuff like that. So once you figure that out, even if you may not be the best in coding, even if you might not win any awards in terms of being the best coder in the country or in the world, then your work will always stand out and your clients will always come back to you.
Okay, I would not agree more with what he said. Is about creating solutions for the consumers. And I think what most software developers do is cracking the brief from a very top level understanding. And we need to take time and digest that particular brief, as Kevin had said earlier, that you get a brief from client, alafu unapata unaosha carpet na unapaka rangi. At this particular point, you get the brief and unpack it properly. What is the objectives? What is the end results? What is our KPI in this particular project? Are we driving sales? Are we driving traffic? And then now you start creating now the code from there. Yeah, after understanding your KPI, not the other way around. Because I feel like we start creating the code without understanding the KPI, and then by the end of this particular project, that's when you realize, oh, we were supposed to drive traffic. Okay, we were supposed to drive sales. So my advice would be understanding the brief, understanding what the KPIs are for this particular project, and then I'll start building from there. And I know some clients have a lot of crazy timelines, but sometimes you can talk to Bernard or your client and tell them, please give me time, and this is how I segment my work. I need 2 days to unpack your brief. I need 3 more days for a tissue session with you to understand exactly what you want, and then I will move into coding or to development. So I think creating solutions, understanding the KPI is something that is very important moving forward.
Great. So thank you guys for the wonderful session. We want to close it at that, so that we move to the next session of I think why people are here. Thank you, Njoroge, thank you, Catherine, thank you, Kevin, for the wonderful session. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you.